It does not matter the order. Alright. So, let's just go with Humio. Let's just go down the list.
朽木さん、あなたがこの部屋に入った時にはすでに患者はいなくなっていたのですね。
ええ、ベッドはすでにもぬけの殻でした。
それはどういうことですか？
トコちゃんはずっと面会謝絶でして、父と村瀬医師しかこの病室に出入りしていなかったんです。
ですがあなたは彼女を見ていたんですよね。
僕は外科医ではありませんか。
Humio hid his gloved hand behind his back.
ではなぜ今日に限って病室の中へ入ったんですか？
それは村瀬医師が病室から出ていくのを見て、つい。
Humio hung his head.
父からもトコちゃんの容体についてはあまり聞かされて。
なるほど。ありがとうございました。
Talk to me, director man.
朽木所長、あなたは午後1時頃。
私を疑っているのかね。
Take it as a question, dickhole. Yostada shot me a chilling glare.
いえ、そういうわけではありません。
私は昼過ぎからずっと所長室にいたぞ。残念ながらそれを証明してくれる人間はおる。
そうですか。ありがとうございます。
Laogui, what's your excuse?
村瀬さん、あなたがここを離れる前の患者の様子はどうでしたか？
いつもと変わらんよ。体力の消耗を防ぐために麻酔を打っていたが。
Damn. What a coincidence. You just so happened to give her an anesthetic so that she would be unconscious at this very perfect moment.
つまり、連れ出されるときに暴れたりはされないわけ
Go
ですね。
fucking figure.
そうなるな。しかし麻酔があろうとなかろうと暴れられはしない。
麻酔はあくまで体力の消耗を防ぐためのものだ。そもそも患者は全身を骨折していた。暴れることなどできはしない。
Yostada answered and Murase said,
なるほど。しかし、麻酔がなければ声を出すことくらいはできたのではないですか？
だろうな。だからといってそれを今論じても意味のないことじゃないのか。
I knew you were a fucking villain. I knew it. I knew it from the moment I saw you.
そうですね。
I knew it. Kaharu.
山之内さんはこちらの部屋の前にいらっしゃったとい
Did
う
you
こと
spot
ですか？
anyone with a briefcase?
はい。今日は外部からの来客も多くて立て込んでいましたが、
Anyone with a large briefcase?
来客？
小さな診療所や行為の方が健康診断の打ち合わせにいらっしゃるんです。こちらに記録が残っている場合も多いですから。
なるほど。では、入院病棟に外来の患者が来ることは可能ですか？
ええ、特に制限はありません。入院患者さんのご家族なども見えられますし、人の行き来は自由です。
そうですか。ありがとうございます。
Last but not least, psychiatrist man.
斉藤先生は1時頃どちらにいらっしゃったの？
自室で書類の整理をしていましたよ。実は村瀬先生の電話を取り継いだのも私でしてね。
そうなんですか？
ああ、斉藤先生がここへ呼びに来て部屋に戻ったんだ。
Sounds like y'all are colluding.
どなたからのお電話だったんですか？
それは捜査に関係あるのか？誰からだって
Because
構わな
if
い
the
だろ。
call was legit, clearly you'd remember who was calling. Dickwad.
いえ、
よそのお医者さんでしたよ。お話の内容まではさすがに知りませんが。
そうでしたか。申し訳ありません。
I probably gotten everything I could out of them.
何か分かったか？
Ozmi finally broke his silence.
そうだな。
Said Toko's bed once more. Sheets were neatly laid out atop it with folds still intact.
このシーツはいつ取り替えたのですか？
Turned around and asked Dr. Kichiki that question.
シーツ毎日交換することになっているが。
If they hauled her out in the linen cart, I hate to sound like a broken record, but man, this reminds me of like in Judgment when
お昼前に理念回収を担当している看護婦さんが台車で各部屋を回っていましたよ。
その時にこちらの部屋のも交換されたのですか？
ああ、シーツと布団、枕も交換して
you
いた
know
な。
the sheets, blankets, pillows, patient, all of them got swapped
な
out.
るほど。 理念室はどちらですか？
They snuck her out in a goddamn linen cart. It's just like Judgment.
廊下の先ですが、何かあるのですか？
そうですね。案内していただけますか？
ええ、こちらです。
Kahara led me out to the hallway.
この先なのですが。あ、時坂先生。
Turned around upon hearing a familiar voice call out to
お
me.
や、佐藤さん。こんなところでどうしたんだい？
どうも風邪をひいたようで来たのですけど。
俺はちょっと調べることがあってね。
赤崎先生のことで。
なぜ
先ほど正午過ぎに待合室の方で見かけたものですから。
結婚しているという話は聞いていないな。
ええ、赤崎先生が大きな乳母車を押しているように見えたので。
A large
もしかしたら
stroller.
他人の空似かもしれませんが。
A stroller? Like the one you carry a kid in?
乳母
I wish you have something like that.
たく。
魚住、ちょっと今から調べてきてほしい。
どこだ？
It's the linen room.
理念室に行ってくれ。使用済みのシーツに何か紛れていないか調べてくれないか。
理念室だな。わかった。
Rosemary ran down the hallway.
何か分かったのですか？
ええ、おそらく自分の勘が外れていなければ。
へえ、先生の探偵らしいところ初めて見ました。
Ouch. I knew she was trying to compliment me, but that hurt. Rosemary returned before
どう
long.
だった？
レジ、こんなのが出てきたぞ。
Rosemary tossed some clothes at me.
あら、これは看護婦の。
Oh, Okay, okay. I'm starting to pieces the pieces. So Akazaki was in on it, alright, because we did see her, fiddling around with Murase the other day. In fact, when is it that he saw them? It was like shortly after one of the Don't tell me that was the day Suzuruko's limbs popped up. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Because he said they would have to be dropped off early in the morning, right? And we've seen Murase, and then we saw Murase and Akazaki. No, we saw Murase the one time. No, we saw Murase twice. We saw Murase the one time, and then we saw Murase a second time. And the second time was with Akazaki. Both during the morning. Oh. 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 Okay. Okay. So they definitely colluding, right? So, Nene goes in, dressed up like a nurse with the linen cart. Toko's unconscious from Murase's anesthetic, puts girl in the linen cart a la Judgment and hauls that girl to the linen room. Alright, bit of a different direction than Judgment, but a similar concept. And then from there, takes homegirl out of the linen cart, puts her in a stroller, swaps her own outfit, and pushes the stroller out, and no one thinks anything. They think it's just like a visiting family member with a kid or something. Okay, okay. Which definitely lends to my theory that they chopped down Toko's limbs. That they had to chop some things down. Because otherwise, how the hell is she gonna pass as a fucking infant in a stroller? Unless they're using the term stroller a lot differently than, like, I think of the term stroller. Maybe it has a totally different meaning in Japan for all I know, but...
車輪付きのでかいカゴにシーツやなんやらと一緒に置かれていたぞ。
あらあら、制服はきちんと別で洗濯し。
Kahara's comment was more on the mark than she realized.
よし、これでほぼ決まりだ。行くぞ、大住。
おう。
With that, I brought Uozumi and Kohara back to Toko's room.
皆さん、お待たせいたしました。
患者の行方も大切だが、我々にも仕事があるんだ。
ええ、大体のところは。
as I stopped in front of the most suspicious individual in the room. One Naoki Murase.
なんだ。
先ほど自分の知り合いが外来の待合室で乳母車を押す女性を見かけたそうです。
それがどうした？
そう焦らないでください。その方が目撃されたのは正午過ぎのことらしいです。
だからどうしたと聞いているだろ。
Say don't rush me, fucker. Murase stomped on the floor, clearly
ところ
fuming.
で理念回収の台車がここに来たのは何時と言っていましたか？
昼前だ。
Murase's irritation gave way to confusion at the sudden change in topic.
ああ、そうでした。理念室でその台車と一緒にこんなものが置いてあったんですよ。
Thosme showed the nurse uniform he'd found at my behest.
そんなものが理念室に置いてあるのは当たり前だろ。
そうではないのですよ。先ほどこの制服を見つけたとき、山之内先生は制服は別で選択するとおっしゃいました。
ええ、更衣室には専用の回収箱もありますから、理念室で着替えるなんてことはしません。
そうです。なぜそこに制服だけが放置されていたのか。外部から何者かが潜入し、
バカバカしい。そんなことをしたって部
Unless
外者
you
か
were
どうか
in
は見
league
れば
with
わかるだ
them,
ろ。
dipshit.
では山之内先生、その理念を回収していた看護婦に
え、そういえば顔を見ていません。
その看護婦が意図的に顔を背けていたという可能性はあり。
顔を背けて仕事中だと思いました。カゴの中を覗き込んでいたよう
Maybe
な。
they held something out in the cart.
でもなぜですか？
山之内先生と顔見知りだったのでしょう。だから看護婦の格好をしていてはおかしい。
私の顔見知り。
Kahara grasped. She probably realized exactly what I was alluding
そ
to.
の看護婦に化けた女性は村瀬先生がいらっしゃる時にここへ来ました。
Murase reluctantly nodded. Got you, bitch. Looked like he was really losing his cool. Checkmate was
看
nigh.
護婦の正体は今はいいでしょう。重要なのは患者朽木東子さんがどのようにしてここからいなくなったかです。
I pointed to the clean sheets on the bed.
シーツは新品同様で誰かが寝ていたようには見えません。つまり理念回収の際に古いシーツを持っていった。そしてその時病室にいたのは村瀬さん。
何をバカなこと。俺が電話でここを離れるまで。
Murase pounded his fist on the wall with
で
rage.
は村瀬さんを呼びに来た斉藤先生は患者さんを確認していますか？
いや、ノックをして電話が来ていると伝えただけですよ。
ありがとうございます。さて、そろそろ時間もありませんし。
There was no doubt in my mind that Murase had played a part in Toko's kidnapping. Thus, all that remained was to name his accomplice. It's probably. Where the fuck is her name? It'd be up here because she's one of the first ones we met. I thought. There we are.
その人は外来の待合室で大きな乳母車を押しているのを目撃されています。
There were still some parts that didn't entirely add up, but I was sure that was how it had gone
魚
down.
住、付近に緊急配備を頼む。おそらくさっきの学生佐藤さんもいるだろうから。
おう。
Osme left the room. All that was left was to make that man
以
confess.
前、そうですね、10日ほど前になりますか。
Sure did.
仲良さそうでしたよ。まるで恋人のようだった。そろそろ認めてはいかがですか？
赤崎は大学の時の後輩だ。
Murase slumped into a
や
chair.
っと認めていただき。
Uncovering his motive was all that remained. He'd probably cough it up fairly easily, though, since he had been caught red-handed.
ああ、そうそう、村瀬さん。
Oh, I know. One more thing. Gotta hit him with the Columbo. Murase looked over at me. The cops would stay behind, flanking him on both sides.
なんだ。
自供していただいて感謝しています。
He shot me a confused
自
glance.
分は一度も乳母車を押していた女性やあなたと会っていた人を名前で呼んではいませんからね。
Murase's eyes widened. Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, damn, homeboy's just confessing like that, huh?
誘拐罪が少しでも軽くなるといいですね。
Good doctor shot me a hateful glare as he was taken away. I knew that Laogui-looking motherfucker was evil. Marase held his tongue even after he was brought to another room. Dr. Kichiki and the other doctors went back to work. One of the other police officers left the hospital to follow Ozumi. Toko would probably be back in safe hands before long. That's what we'd like to think, you know? That said, there were still several loose ends concerning Marase's actions. But I planned to get them out of him right away.
なぜこのようなことをしたのですか
He sat across from Marase and spoke up.
決まっているだろう。金だよ。
Marase divulged his motives in a subdued voice.
身代金目的の言う
あの女は金のなる木だ。あちこちから金をぶんどれる。
あちこちから確かに口利けは
He also saw Kichiki owned this very hospital, but that was it.
5日ほど前、ここに弁護士が来た。所長を訪ねてきたらしいんだが、俺が対応した。
Sua. So this happened on the 8th then.
出かける前に聞いちまったんだよ。あの女が中原慎次郎の孫娘かもしれねえって。
中原慎次郎
岡山の実業家さ。紡績業で財を成し、孤児院や病院、果ては電力会社、銀行まで作った大物だ。倉敷の中原美術館もさ。
Oh, isn't that the museum they went to?
中原美術館
Wasn't that the museum I visited with Toko last month? So the owner was her biological grandfather? She didn't go there knowing that, did she? I think she
その
did.
弁護士が言うには、母親と瓜二つだそうだぜ。
I never imagined I learned something about Toko in this manner.
つまりまあ、そういうことさ。あの女をかっさらってしまえば、口利家と中原家両方から身代金を取れる。
Marase was spilling all the beans. Maybe he'd realized it was best to just go all in now that he'd been caught. Good thing none of the Kichikis were around to hear this.
それで後から赤崎さんに身代金要求の電話を入れさせるのですか
ああ、そうさ。俺が署内にいる時だったら、俺の犯行だとは思われねえだろ。
ですがそれは失敗に終わった
Sent the cop keeping watch and nod, then rose to my feet.
自分は朽木東子さんの保護へ向かいます
The cop took Marase away. An ordinary detective like me normally wouldn't have had the right to interrogate a suspect. Apparently that cop had mistaken me for a plainclothes police inspector. Probably because I was with Uozumi, honestly. I got most of the story out of Marase. The rest of the details would probably fall into place soon enough. I left the reception room and found Uozumi dashing my way from the exit.
大変なことになったぞ、レイジ。
Dear God, hit me
どう
with
し
it.
た
村瀬のアパートで赤崎ネネが殺されていた。
シンジ。
何
What was the meaning of this?
それに朽木東子の姿もなかった。
So someone murked her and took Toko? Wait, what the hell is he saying?
何が起こる
わからん。とにかく来てくれ。
あ
I raced after Uozumi. Marase's apartment was in Nogata, just a short drive away from the Kichiki Pathological Research Institute. This area had been an air raid target during the war, since the Imperial Japanese Army in Nakano School was nearby. Yet a considerably ramshackle building had escaped all that and still stood tall in the neighborhood.
こっちだ。
Choking stench of blood engulfed the room, decked out in Western furniture. Nene Akazaki, or something that resembled her anyway, sat in a chair positioned near the center. Yikes! Wow! Homegirl got cut the fuck up. In that void of the macabre. Her face had been carved up by a myriad of slashes, rendering her nigh unrecognizable. God damn.
これはひどいな
True. It almost looked as though her face had been thrown into a shredder.
調べるか。
Yeah. Alright. There's a kitchen knife on the ground. There's a bloody knife on the floor. It had to be the murder weapon. The instrument of death was caked all the way to the hilt in blood. Clear fingerprints had been left behind. They're probably the culprits. Probably.
魚住、こいつを鑑識へ回してくれ。
ああ、そうだ。もうすぐ夏目さんがこっちに来るらしい。
夏目さんが
You'll be surprised. Especially considering she also been at Shinzo Mamiya's studio this morning.
八木沼管理官が現在、間宮真司が桂木真の名義で借りていた事務所を捜索しているからな。
そうか。
Things have progressed on that front too, it seemed. That was good to hear. Right. Then also this cord. The cord was strewn across the floor. The vinyl coating was stretched and discolored. Someone must have tugged on it with great force.
なるほどな。
Quickly looked up and gave an understanding nod. Yeah. Forensics need to take a look at that. Okay, well, it said click on it twice, so I did. But nothing new happened, okay. Examine the corpse and zoom. Nene Akazaki had shuffled off the mortal coil.
赤崎ねね本人で間違いないか。
ああ。
I'd never expected to see her like this, however. The hell had happened. In any case, probably have to move closer to get a better look. By all means, let's see what we got here. Akazaki's face had been sliced to ribbons. It was painted with so much red that I hardly recognized her as the woman I'd got to know over the last month.
しかし、顔面を切り裂いたのは。
さあな。直接の死因は窒息だろうが。
That obviously failed, seeing as I'd already ID'd her.
犯人がわからんと何とも言えんな。
Further details have to wait. You tell me. This fucking guy tells me to click on it twice. Strangulation marks on the back of the neck. It's not letting me click on the back of the neck. Oh wait, right here. That's more down the back. That's the neck. That's what we're looking for. Bruise in the shape of a slender line snaked around her neck. Faint nail marks were also visible.
後ろから紐で絞められたか。
Crossed cord marks were very clear on the back of her neck. The power cord on the floor was likely the culprit. The murder weapon had to have been the power cord on the floor. Yes, yes. And then her body. Her clothes were entirely unrustled, meaning she'd probably been taken out instantly. Didn't seem like rape was the objective here. Her clothes were unmarred apart from the blood that dripped down from her face. Yes. Okay, okay. What about... Wait. Oh, I can't investigate back here? Do I have to wait. Table splattered with blood, probably when the killer mutilated Akazaki's face. Seeing over how brutal the whole thing appeared, whatever happened to murder, borderline pathological. Didn't appear to be anything else. Alright.
ほんまにもう今日は仏さんがようけ出すぎやわ。
Hi, Natsume. Natsume had finally arrived.
時坂はん、お久しぶりですな。
さっき会ったばかりじゃないですか。
素で返しちゃあかんよ。
Don't say.
うちかて疲れとるんですから。場を和ませてくれてもええんちゃいますやろか。
よくわかりませんが。これ、どう思いますか？
I took a step back and showed Natsume the crime scene.
死因は頸部圧迫による窒息死やろね。凶器はそこに落ちとるコードで間違いないですやろ。
では、その包丁はどうでしょうか？
これかい？指紋がべっとりついとるね。
Damn, girl, if you can recognize fingerprint patterns just like that, impressive. Natsume started fishing through her bag.
見覚えがあるって。
うちの見立てが間違いなかったらさっき見つけたのが。
Natsume flashed a piece of paper. It was a document concerning fingerprints found at a crime scene. And the name of the document was...
間宮真司の指紋。
Why? Why would they be here of all places?
せやね。右手の母子の指紋と一致しますな。
いや、待ってください。
考察やからコードの指紋も調べなあかんけど。
なぜ？
Didn't make any sense. How in the world was he connected to this case? Because they were colluding. They were colluding. That's why you kept seeing Marase and Akazaki at places, because all three of them were working in tandem. They were helping him with his fucking art pieces or what the fuck ever. I don't know. I raced towards Shinkatsuragi's... No. Shinji Mamiya's office, leaving the transportation of Nene's body to Ozumi and Natsume. Numerous squad cars surrounded the place.
柳沼管理官
Called out to Yaginuma as soon as I saw him.
いやあ先輩、どうしましたか？
ああその被疑者として間宮真司が浮上している。
え？それはどういうことですか？
Even Yaginuma was taken aback by the news.
どうもこうも行方不明になっている朽木塔子の身柄も発見できなかった以上、
それはなぜですか？何か関わりがあったとでも？
それがわからないからこっちに来たんだ。中を調べさせてもらうぞ。
I brushed Yaginuma aside.
別に構いませんよ。現場にあったものはほぼそのままにしてありますから。
It was then that Yaginuma flashed a smug smile.
もし何も見つからず、こちらに泣きつかれても知りませんからね。
ああそうかい。
His attitude made me wonder exactly how much evidence had been left behind. I entered Shin Katsuragi's office. Found myself in a bizarre white landscape. Ew. Took some time for my eyes to adjust to it all. Everything, the walls, floor, ceiling, was a pastel white. Even the spines of the books and the bookshelves had been painted white. It was like seeing madness incarnate. This room clearly had not been the product of a sound mind. It almost felt like it somehow wandered right into a black and white TV. Several sheets of paper sat atop the desk. Yaginuma had been telling the truth. The office really had been left as it was. However, that didn't mean there weren't clues that he deemed irrelevant. So with that in mind, I began my investigation. Yeah, let's investigate. Drawer on the left side of the desk. I opened the left drawer. It stored a whole host of pens and pencils. What's more, they all been painted white too. What about this one? Okay, that all counts as one drawer. Just wanted to double check, make sure I was clicking on the right thing. But a notebook in the drawer. As expected, it's covered in painted white as well. Flipping through revealed a page with dates and names on it. A schedule, maybe? March 17th, Yuko Kobayashi. March 28th, Tomoko Kano. April 5th, Tsuzuka Yosumiya. April 8th. April 11th, Toko Mizuhara. The bastard actually wrote down his victims' names. However, April 8th was left blank. It seemed he'd written something there only to erase it later. Had something happened that day? Ooh. What's this? Found torn pieces of paper. A letter? Some pieces were missing, meaning that the thing wasn't entirely legible. That aside, though, the handwriting was immaculate. It appeared to have been signed Shinzo. In that case, Shinzo Mamiya must have written this. Wouldn't be odd for father and son to exchange letters, that much was certain. But why was this one riddled with apologies? Nearly every single scrap of paper had sentences along the lines of, "Atone for my sins, I apologize, and cannot bear my shame." However, I couldn't tell what exactly Shinzo Mamiya was apologizing for. Whatever it was, I sure wanted to hear the truth from the horse's mouth. I checked the manuscript sitting on the desk. The title read, "The Shell of Sheol Part 2. It must have been an unfinished work of his, though I could have sworn I'd seen that title before. Right, that was the name of the novel in that magazine I found in Toko's room. Shin Katsuragi had written it for the May issue of Art and Literature, meaning this was the next part of it, huh? I saw books lined atop the desk. They'd all been painted white. I could hardly even tell what color they originally were. It almost felt like manifestation of some sort of obsession that had taken root deep inside Shinji Mamiya's heart. However, the books themselves were fairly ordinary, simply novels like The Divine Comedy and Faust. Shinji Mamiya had probably themed his own works after them. Okay, so now we're gonna bust a quick save. Because apparently, if I want to see all the normal endings, I gotta save right here. Now, for ending 1, it doesn't matter what I do next. This is only for endings 2 or 3. I'm just gonna go for ending 1 since it's gonna end since that's the quickest ending. And then after I wrap up get my one normal ending, I'm just gonna jump to the true ending. And maybe I'll come back and do more endings for myself later, but yeah. Okay, but I do know about this one because I remember someone complaining in the guide like it's so stupid that to like accurately get one of these endings you have to click like on just the right pixel or something. The following postcard necessary to get ending 2, but it locks you out from getting ending 3. It doesn't matter for ending 1. In other words, create 2 saves, one where you have the postcard and one where you do not. Between the books, on top of the desk, the picture postcard. It's kind of hard to get, just spam click until you get it. Okay. Oh wow, this wait, where is it? Between the books on top of the desk. Between the books. Oh shit. Wow, that is insane. That is actually insane. That is actually insane that you have to spam click like that. I took out a copy of Shinji Mamiya's copy of the Divine Comedy. The name of the book was still faintly visible under the layers of white coating at its spine. Seemed to be something caught between the pages. What do we have here? Pulled out a photograph, or rather, a postcard. Appeared to depict a lakeshore somewhere. Alright, then we'll bust a second save there. Alright, like I said, I'm going for ending 1, so that doesn't truly matter, but just for myself. There was no location written on the card, however. Still, decided to take it just in case. And I believe that's going to conclude my investigation.
このくらいか。
I wasn't surprised that there were no clues about Toko's whereabouts, really. Shinji Mamiya probably hadn't come back here after killing Nene Akazaki and kidnapping Toko. He wasn't stupid enough to go where the police would be lying in wait. But in that case, where was Toko? Should I leave searching for her to the police, or look myself? I wander outside as I mulled over my options.
Senpai, ご苦労様でした。
Yaginuma started over to me.
何か出ましたか？
いや、直接的な手がかりにつながるものは。
でしょうね。僕らが探した後ですからね。
そっちでは何か出たのか？
さあ、どうでしょうね。まあ先輩には関係のないことですよ。
Yaginuma smirked.
どうしても捜査に参加させてほしいとおっしゃるんでしたら構いませんけれどね。
間宮真司を探しに行くのか？
ええ、もちろん。運が良ければさらわれた少女も見つけられるでしょうね。
そうだな。
Should I take him up on that offer? No, I work alone. I'm a big boy.
いや、俺は勝手にやらせてもらう。
そうですか。ではご自由に。
With that, Yaginuma took his cops with him and got in a squad car and rode off. This was for the best. There were still things only I could do, after all. Something had been bothering me ever since I'd had that talk with Murase, namely the woman he called Toko's mother. My mind flittered back to the dawn of March, when Toko had asked me to find her true self. Maybe I could look into that. That investigation would begin at the Nakahara Museum of Art in Kurashiki. I knew where it was since I'd been there with Toko before. Probably get there by tomorrow if I leave now. That raised the ultimate question: should I prioritize Toko's request, or finding her? Since this is ending 1, we're just gonna go search for Toko. Yeah, I had to worry more about finding Toko and not fulfilling her request. She'd undoubtedly been kidnapped by Shinji Mamiya. There was only so many places he could hide, such as, for example, his father's house in Hoya. Last time I visited the place, it seemed deserted, but that was exactly why I made it for the perfect hiding spot. I had to get there before Yaginuma and his men, but I knew it'd take too long to reach Hoya by train, considering all the transfers I'd have to make.
駅前でタクシーを拾うか。
Made a beeline for the station. At last, she had broken. She'd obsessively slathered layer after layer of powder onto her unblemished face, only to scream in disgust and claw it off. Numerous scars were etched upon her visage. Thus her cycle of smothering her countenance in powder to hide any damage, only to claw it right off, continued ad nauseum. As a result, her face was quickly worn down like a tattered rag. She suffered from an illness known as dysmorphophobia. It was a disease where one became so unhealthily obsessed with their appearance that they would fly into a frenzy if they perceived so much as the tiniest flaw in their looks. For her, that burn on her face had been excruciating agony, and so she tried covering it up with powder, even after it fully healed. What's more, she beat the boy from time to time to distract her from herself from constant suffering. She punched him, kicked him, threw objects at him. Sometimes she wouldn't even feed him for days, and yet the boy put up with it all. That was all he could do, since his father simply stood by and watched. Eventually she cut her own face with a knife. A smile of satisfaction followed, accentuated by the rivers of blood trickling down her visage. The boy was terrified. The woman who had once treated him so badly had suddenly transformed into a kind and gentle entity. She wrapped her scarred face up in bandages and hugged the boy, not like a mother would her son, but rather as a woman would her lover. Oh. Before the boy even knew what was happening, she kissed him on the lips. The woman slept with the boy every single night after that. Sweet nothings were whispered into his ear as she bared her naked flesh atop him. Then she would undo her bandages and unveil her scarred face. After that, she would ask the boy over and over and over again, "Aren't I pretty?" The boy sobbed as he begged for clemency, yet she refused to release him. The boy felt a mysterious sensation as he stared at the scarred face. Perhaps it was pure primal fear itself. So he let his tongue slip. "Please keep your hideous face away from me." The woman flew into an ungodly rage upon hearing those words. Her fingers coiled around the boy's neck as she continued to straddle him. She strangled him with the face of a scorned demon. The boy instinctively pushed her away. She fell back and banged her head on a corner bedpost modeled after the tip of a sword. Goddamn. Blood spurted out of the point of impact like juice from a ripe fruit. It splattered all over the covers, floor, and even the boy's body, painting them all in a deep scarlet. The pointed bedpost stuck through the back of her mouth. Oh, goddamn! That kind of... Jesus Christ. She convulsed from head to toe, dyed red from the blood gushing out of her. The boy was extraordinarily aroused by the sight. Oh. Yeah. Gotcha. Some traumatic shit that happened while he was... Yeah, okay. Doesn't condone anything he did, but... Yeah, I see how we got to that point. The boy's father said nothing, even upon beholding his wife's corpse. The body was soon removed, and the bloody covers burned, restoring peace to the boy's room at long last. Okay, and that's why Shinzo Mamiya's letter is all full of apologies and atoning for his sins, huh? Unfortunately, peace did not return to his heart. So this sick fuck gets off at, yo, bloodshed, blood splurting, and all this shit. Okay.
初めて訪れる地、初めて訪れた建物、初めて会う人、初めて見る絵、すべてが新鮮だった。絵に対する姿勢が変わった。もっとしっかりと向き合おうと思った。彼の絵にはそれだけの力がある。
I hailed a taxi at Nakano Station and raced over to Shinzo Mamiya's home in Hoya. The police were nowhere to be found. It seemed Yaginuma and his men hadn't arrived just yet. The Mamiya Manor, located deep in the middle of a forest near a residential district, seemed exactly the same as it was when I last visited. There was something here, I just knew it. I tiptoed over to the door. When I gently grabbed the doorknob, the door suddenly creaked loudly open. It's not locked. Whatever the case, I didn't have time to carefully consider my next course of action. This was illegal, no doubt about it, and Toko might have been in there. Thus I had no choice but to throw caution to the wind. The inside was just as much a ruin as the outside. Layers of dust caked the floor, leaving a trail of clear footprints behind it. Even the fine furnishings were all discolored, the glass shattered and warped into what looked like the fangs of a mythical beast. Furthermore, the surrounding cobwebs were thick with dust, with no signs of their masters and creators to be found. I covered my mouth with a handkerchief so I wouldn't cough, then cautiously made my way through the area. The newest footprint trail seemed to lead deep into the house. These footprints were Shinji's. Then he could have been just up ahead in that room. That's the director. No, that is Shinzo, isn't it? Because I thought they looked similar, but we do meet Shinzo at some point in the museum. That's right. I opened the door and snuck a peek inside to discover what appeared to be a study. Someone was slumped over in the chair, but it wasn't Shinji Mamiya. Rather, this someone was far older than him.
Mamiya Shinzo-ka.
The old man didn't even twitch when I said that name. I entered the room and closed the door. With that, I carefully approached the man and looked at his face. It was the old man I'd seen at the art museum in Ueno half a month ago. It seemed he really had been Shinzo Mamiya, just as I suspected. However, he appeared to be dead. His eyes were wide open, his face a blotchy red. He hadn't been dead long, that was for sure. A dark brown medicine bottle was resting on its side atop the desk, while a drinking glass lay nearby on the floor. The label on the bottle read potassium cyanide. I studied Shinzo's body. There were no signs of foul play from what I could tell. He'd taken the cyanide and brought his own life to an end. The faint speckles of livor mortis also pointed to death by prussic acid poisoning. But why would he? Something was caught under his body. It was a white envelope. A letter, maybe? I took a handkerchief out of my pocket so as to not leave any fingerprints and carefully pried it out. A peculiar scent of bitter almonds emanated from Shinzo's mouth. I grimaced as I opened the letter. The salutation read, "Dear Shinji." The handwriting looked to be a match with the torn letter I had found at Shinji's office, meaning Shinzo Mamiya had probably written this one as well. The letter itself was more or less the same as the other one. It was an apology to Shinji Mamiya. What had driven him repeatedly to seek atonement to the point he'd taken his own life? Unfortunately, Shinzo could no longer answer that particular question. However, Shinji probably knew why his father had decided to commit suicide, especially if he'd come here himself. No, maybe it was because he'd come here that his father had decided to commit suicide, hence why he'd left behind this letter as a last will of sorts. It was a plausible theory for sure. However, I turned away from Shinzo and scanned the room. There was a door that led further in. It was partially ajar, too. Lights seeped out from within it. Wait, is that where he's hiding? I didn't have a weapon on me, so if Shinji Mamiya turned out to be right behind the door, guess all I can do is buck up, huh? Took a deep breath, practically body slammed the door, and flew into the next room. A white domain surrounded me. It was an almost perfectly even world that made me think I was seeing the inside of an eggshell. However, the wall in the end was remarkably different. It was a fresco, a giant mural that nearly took up the whole wall. Furthermore, it was none other than... Right, Shinzo Mamiya's masterpiece that Toko had been so taken by at the museum. This was probably the real one, the original. What's more, its intensity was on a whole different level from its smaller counterpart. In fact, I half believed the woman in the egg would jump out of the wall at any second. That was how insane it seemed. No, it was insane. For right under the mural was... Yep.
Toko!
Girl in shell. No. Toko was there like she'd emerged from the painting itself. Her upper half was jutting out of a giant eggshell. Her marble skin had turned ghastly pale. The only color on her was her black curved eyelashes and long dark hair.
Toko.
I slowly trudged over to her. In my heart of hearts, I wanted to run straight to her side. I wanted to race over and make sure she was okay. However, my legs didn't dare so much as try. For I had been completely absorbed into the world within the white shell. The closer I got, the clearer I could see the tragic state of her body. Toko's arms had been severed. The four limbless bodies Shinji Mamiya crafted had clearly all been practiced to perfect this final creation. Indeed, by putting Toko in the shell, Shinji Mamiya's own girl in shell was completed. Toko's eyes were closed, but her lips curved into a smile. They were deathly pale, not so much as a smidge of red adorning them, and parted slightly. She's alive?
Toko!
Took off running, freed from the spell. Right when I dashed over to Toko and tried to touch her, I finally realized the truth. The legs I thought I'd find crossed within the egg had never been there to begin with. I'd had my suspicions deep down. The other 4 victims had lost both their arms and legs after all. So really, it wasn't surprised to see he'd done the same to her. Toko's eyes flitted open ever so slightly. I gazed at her face. She was grinning and looking right at me.
Toko. 俺だ。
I could have sworn I saw her eyes move. However, no words exited her mouth. Merely a gust of air that seemed to leak out of her very lungs.
Toko.
I gently touched her cheek. She smiled happily. And then, before those words fully registered within my brain, Toko's eyes shut for good. That smile still etched onto her face. Yaginuma and his fellow cops arrived not too long after. They worked extremely efficiently, wasting no time examining the 2 bodies in the manor. When Toko was taken out of the egg, she looked terribly, terribly small. At that moment, Girl and Shell died and reverted back to Toko Kichiki. Yaginuma slowly made his way over to me. I hadn't budged an inch since Toko's passing.
随分と満足げな死に顔でした。あれはおそらく自殺でしょうね。
そうか。
He'd chosen to pass on upon completing his Girl and Shell, huh?
一連の事件は被疑者の死亡をもって全て解決しました。先輩。
そうだな。
You could tell he's probably trying to console me. If nothing else, at least this was all done and dusted. Far too much blood had been shed, but it was finished.
ご自宅まで送らせますか？
いや、いい。ここからなら歩いて帰れるさ。
He gave Yaginuma a little wave and exited the manor. It was already dark out. That white room had been far too bright. Couldn't see a thing around me. Still, I plodded down the narrow path. Rosemi was there, waiting for me right between the border of chaos and civilization.
Yo.
乗れ。
Rosemi pointed to his car.
歩いて行けるさ。
いいから乗れ。
He grabbed me by the collar and forced me in.
どこへ行くつ？
どこでもいいだろ。
Rosemi drove off after spitting out those words. The car raced through the moonlit streets. Neither of us spoke. The only other passenger was the choking stench of smoke. I had no idea where we were going.
朽木東子はどの道長くは生きられなかったそうだ。
Rosemi broke his silence at long last.
事故の際、すでに瀕死だった。治療といっても生かされていた。
それでもあいつは生きていた。
そうだな。
We stopped at Inokashira Park.
もう桜も散る頃だな。
ああ。
Rosemi and I took a stroll around the pond. The girl I'd met there at the beginning of last month had decayed, just as her name indicated.
結局見つけられなかった。
Toko's true self had ultimately eluded my grasp. She'd always seemed to be right there whenever I turned around. But now I would never hear that melodic voice as clear as a bell ever again. First Yukiko, and now Toko. Why was I always the one left behind? No, that didn't matter. I had to go on. Just like when I'd lost Yukiko. I had to keep on living, even without Toko. End. God damn. Jeeps. Well, there we have it. Or am I wrong? Wait. Does that not count as an ending? Wait. Because I'm supposed to get the credits, right? I'm supposed to get the credits, right? Hey, yo. I didn't get credits with that. Hey, yo, what the hell? I ain't get credits. I ain't get credits. Where the hell's my credits? Hey, yo, nah, hold up. Nah, hold up. You playing with me now. True end is accessible upon completing at least one normal end. That's the thing. They said for it to be a normal ending, I should get the credits should roll, and then it should show me the gallery as well, which I think is what this little second space right here it would be. So does ending 1 not count? Because I mean, technically this guide is for the original Steam release and not for, you know, the remaster here. So maybe I have to do either 2 or 3? Because yeah, I didn't get credits, I didn't get the gallery. And so I can only get the true ending until I get one of those, right? True end is accessible upon completing at least one normal end. Technically I got one normal end, but I don't know, man. I just don't know. So I think what I'll do next time, I am going to wrap up the recording session here for today. But I think what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to try to do either ending 2 or 3. And then I'll try again from there. And see if I can't get like some credits rolling, get that gallery unlocked so I know that I've gotten a proper ending. So that I know I can advance to the true ending. So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm assuming that next recording session should be the final one, would be my guess. If I'm right. If not, I mean, I can try for all 3 endings if it truly won't give me my shit, but, I mean, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But yeah, like I said, I am going to wrap it up here for today. So it's either going to be a quick transition or a new video. But I'll see y'all guys in the next recording session. Until then, peace.